That is right. It is time for some football. Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome to another edition of Nomad at Night. I got my trusty over here right next to me. Kids, the Canuck from Canada, man. Listen, I gotta say this right off the top of it. I've been waiting for that moment. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for that moment that happens every single year around this time. Like when you're gonna get that little spark that comes in you when there's time for some football. Usually it takes for me to see the players on the grass. Like a couple of weeks from now, we'll see the Bears and pads on the grass and start hitting. That's kind of the part I'm talking about. When they start crackling and doing all that kind of thing, that's when I start really getting into the mode and into the flow of really being the true Bears fan and the football fan that I really am. That stuff that's inside of me that ain't never going nowhere. I'll be an old man with a cane and a walker or something, and that's still going to happen to me. I believe every time this year. It's just that deeply embedded into my spirit, kids. And it happened. Today I got up and I kind of got up on the wrong side of the bed because I opened my window up. I came out to the man cave and opened my window up and there were squirrels in my garden. And I get up. I'm real surly at that point. Now I'm going out throwing rocks and shit at the damn animals. And I was upset. But when I came back in here, I don't know what came over me. It was just like, I got to do a Bears show tonight. I got to go over here and see about my mother, too, and check on her. But I need to get this Bears show together. What are we going to talk about? I already put the thumbnail out there. Everybody knew what that was. But what exactly are we going to be talking about in between that? And so I got there, and something told me, kids, to go turn on a Bears game. Not in all 22 while I'm breaking down the film. I'm talking about an actual broadcast, a replay. The actual game that we were watching. So I watched the very last game of the season because to me, that's as close as you can get to the here and now. You know what I mean? The very last game of the season. And so I turned on the Green Bay game. And let me tell you, I saw some stuff there, man. I saw some stuff. And it's worth talking about, man. Like some stuff that really sticks out to me is like Tyreek Stevenson, how well that defense was playing. Now, given the fact that Jordan Love went down in the somewhere and around the early part of the second quarter, we had to deal with the backup quarterback, which he's okay, but he ain't Jordan Love. And so a lot of people gloating about that game, and I'm glad that we got that W. But I wonder how much more competitive that game would have been with a healthy Jordan Love. But there was some stuff that stood out in that game. Tremaine Edmonds on defense in particular, DJ Moore on offense. Again, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon. It was things that I saw in this game that gets me absolutely pumped for this season, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I'm telling you, man, we are in for a treat this season. And who gets off, I'm talking about from the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, who gets off to the earlier start and who gets off to the earlier flow, that's up for conversation. Me, I'm going to lean towards defense. You know how I go, man. I'm going to say defense first all the time. But it was you could tell I'm excited about it, man. I cannot wait. So we got Bears inside the building. They came in, I think, yesterday. And we'll have, I think, rookies and quarterbacks came in yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Tomorrow, I think everybody's in the building. So some injury stuff came out. We'll talk about that in a second. But before we get all the way into it, which we're about to delve into it deeply, let me give this bounce pass over to Cannon and my guy, Kids. Let's see what he does with the rock.
Boom. Straight up dunked that ball, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Sunday, y'all. Welcome to Nomad at Night. We're going to do it the way that we always do it. And we're going to talk some Bears football. I'm happy with some of the stuff that I've seen so far. I'm interested in where he's going to take this show, my guy here, Nomad. We'll see where you take this with respect to the game that you watched. I know in watching that game, I have my own thoughts, and at the same time, leaning on defense is something we always do, and I'm with it, but I ain't with it. You know what I mean? Like I want to lean on offense. I want to see viable, thriving offense, pressure. Like that's what I want to see moving forward. And I think we might be in a position to do it because we have the mind from an offensive perspective. We have the skill position from an offensive perspective. It sounds like we may just have ourselves a line. All these things are starting to come together. So I can't wait to see what it looks like. I believe the defense will be nasty and attacking, and that's something we haven't been able to see in a while. And guys like Shamar Turner excite me too, man, because he's going to bring a little bit more of that fire that I think we were missing on that defensive line. But all in all, I want to see some offense, and I think we can do that this time around. But yo, let me give a quick shout out to the folks out in the chat. Right now, it's just my guy Paul. What it do, Paul? Big shout outs to you, sir. And let me bounce pass it right back over to Chicago.
Man, listen, I really am genuinely excited about this, man, because the closer we get to football, I can really shout out to King and Paul, man. Shout out to y'all for being here. And as everybody get ready to file into the chat, it's reason to be excited. It's reason to be a little cautious too. You know, we've been spending the entire offseason trying to point out those reasons, and now the chicken's about to come home to roost. And so, man, like I saw something during that game where I don't know if you remember this, but the point where DJ Moore, when they were starting to surge and they were doing a lot of screen passes to DJ Moore, and that one last screen pass to DJ Moore, he kind of, you know, the guy kind of got in and he kind of got past him, but then poked the ball out of him, and he turned the ball over. And this was kind of late in the game, and Caleb Williams was on the sidelines having a tirade, and I saw Kerry Joseph dig into his spiritual self. He got into his ass, man. And he kind of told him, like, hey, who you think you're talking to? Kind of thing. It's me reading his lips. And he had to calm him down. And so, you know, this whole thing about this offseason about polls and, you know, Ben Johnson wanting to focus on his body language and just his spiritual comportment amongst his teammates, you know, that's important. That's important that he shows the right kind of body language. He's sending the right message when he opens his mouth, so that he's encouraging to everybody out there. You can't be pointing fingers and blaming people. I want him to get that out of his spirit. I don't know exactly, because they only cut to the shot for like a good 5 to 7 seconds where Kerry Joseph got on him. But there was a reason why he got on him. That wasn't the only time. Thomas Brown got on him on the sidelines about something that happened too. You know, that's an ongoing saga for us, man. All we know about Caleb Williams is what we saw on the field last year. You know, the shortcomings. One of the other things that was really, really evident, and the broadcasters were talking about that during the show, he kept going to the sidelines being upset because they were really close to getting a lot of false starts or getting a lot of delay of games because he wasn't getting to the line of scrimmage in time. So he wasn't getting there and getting the play out and getting them to the line of scrimmage in enough time so that he had time to kind of disseminate what's in front of him. And you could tell it was really, really frustrating. This is the very last game of the season. And so if it's there at the very last part of the season, you can see why Ben Johnson has an emphasis on making sure this cat knows to get in there, get that play off, get to the line of scrimmage, and give yourself some time. It's about speed and efficiency, right, kids? And so that shit was evident watching this game, and he was struggling with that the entire game. So Ben Johnson focusing on that is going to help him. I don't know if he's going to struggle with it, but either way, it's going to help him in his maturity moving forward so that he has time to get to the line of scrimmage and see what he needs to see and, you know, kind of read that defense and get his plays off. Because if you don't have time to disseminate, you just an uphill battle the whole game. So that was evident watching that game.
That's very it's interesting, and it's not all at the same time. Like, I know he's a little bit of I'm talking about Caleb Williams here, just a little bit of a firecracker, and last season wasn't going the way that he wanted it to go across the board. So you got to sort of keep some of that emotion in check, but at the same time, in that quarterback position, like, there's certain positions in the NFL, in my opinion, where emotion helps. I'm not like, I don't know, you know, like, I don't know if it helps in the quarterback position. Sometimes you might really want an even keel guy. No, not too high, not too low, just even keel and ride out the situation.
We don't want to take Cutler. Don't feel fit.
And then there's absolute apathy, right? And then there's your prime example of that. So it's a hard
Hey,
case
kid,
scenario. Yeah.
am I the only person in this world that feels like every time I watch Jay Cutler play football and take his helmet off and go to the sideline, that motherfucker is dead inside, man?
Well, no, and at the same, I hear what you're saying. I feel you. It's funny. One of my favorite little Jay Cutler situations is when he went to the podium after one game and there was nobody there. There was, no, there was nobody. None of the reporters were there. It was just Jay, and Jay was like, "Yo, I'm scheduled for an interview." Like, what? Nobody's gonna ask me any questions. He's like, all right. And he just turned around and he left. And like little situations like that, I gotta give it up to Jay Cutler because like it needles you down and all that emotion you might have had at one point just gets watered down into.
Let me ask you this question: do you think there's a true chance at all that some human beings are born devoid of regular human emotion?
No.
You don't believe that? I
No.
100% believe. I know that.
I see. Me. This goes back to the conversation we had last week after the show.
Well, kind of, but nah, not so much, man.
I'm just teasing you, but even then, I think that's a little bit. I think just general apathy is a response mechanism, and in many cases, sort of like a safety valve, right? Like, oh man, like I've thrown a whole bunch of interceptions. I've been criticized in public by the media up and down. I'm criticized right here in Chicago. Man, I was criticized in Denver when I was in Denver. You know what I mean? Like you take the good with the bad, and if it's all just bad, sometimes you just get to the F it mentality, and it's like F it, So that's really where Jay Cutler wound up. I don't see Caleb Williams being that guy. I think he's a little bit more strange. I think I feel like he's a lot more emotional about the entire case scenario, which to me is kind of bodes well, because if you're going to be emotional about it, it means that you actually care, right? You care whether this team wins or loses. You care about your career with respect to football, with respect to the quarterback position, and again with respect to the Chicago Bears. So it's a double-edged sword. That also means that them interceptions and the negativity that may be thrown at him might hit him a little bit harder. It might be a little bit harder for him to get over those humps, as opposed to that even keel guy, or even the guy who feels absolutely nothing and is just numb to the world, aka Jay Cutler. But yeah,
I mean, Caleb. So, me being the person that I am, seeing the experiences that I've experienced on the football field, and let's just say you just asked me, what kind of quarterback would you want? And I'm not one of those people that puts guys into a box and feels like, okay, you have to be this kind of way to be really, really effective and be really good. I don't think so. I think it's a case-by-case scenario. So somebody like Jay Cutler, that's Jay Cutler, Caleb Williams is he's wrapped a little less tight, you know what I mean? He's a little more loose with his emotions, and he'll let them be known. My thing is right place, right time.
Yeah.
Pick your spots, pick your moment. That's more or less what I would, if I had to pull him to the side, Caleb, dog, you're a dog, and I know your spirit is high when it comes to this game. My thing is, dog, you showing a little too much to the world. Dog, keep this shit to us, between us. How we can, if you mad about something, let's get at it in the locker room. But don't be showing the rest of everybody in the world and the rest of the fucking universe how the fuck you feel, because they're gonna see a chink in your armor.
You see, it's the problem with emotions openly and outwardly during the game is that it's going to affect other people, right? If you're upset, and that goes for other people too. He's like Caleb Williams is not in a box, right? Like if we flip it and we look at DJ throwing his hands up and walking off the sideline,
me and him would have had the exact same conversation.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody should have had a very similar conversation with him in that instance, because I get it, you're frustrated, it ain't working right now, but you're going to make your quarterback feel away, and that could jeopardize the relationship. At the very least, jeopardize the relationship for the next 50 minutes within that football game. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, if y'all got a disconnect, you're making it worse, bro. You're pouring salt in the wound. And same thing goes for Caleb if he's going onto the sidelines and, you know what I mean, like this, staring into space, right? Like that's
no good, bro.
No, that isn't good. That is a conversation to be had, and I know most definitely Thomas Brown sort of pulled him aside a couple of times last season and was like, "Hey, look, you know what? We ain't gonna do that. That's not that's not what we're gonna do. I know it ain't all to the good right now, but let's not make matters worse, right?" So I think that was a good situation for both Thomas Brown and who are you saying, the quarterback coach? Kerry Joseph as well, man. Shout out to Kerry Joseph, bro.
And shout out to Ron Winarski, who's on vacation, man. Hopefully you're having a Mai Tai or something.
Where you at, Ron? Where you at? Where'd you go?
Something tropical you're sipping on, something. Or something hardcore. I don't give a shit. Something, but you're drinking something and you're feeling good. Smoking something, you're feeling good. That's all I care about. I had just for before we get into this Bears conversation, to be human. I'm passing on the kids to be human for a second. I told you privately that I was going to have I went over to my sister's to have I arranged a little cookout. You know, we barbecued a whole bunch of stuff, and my sister made sides, and it was a good time. And, you know, a few select family members came over. You know, my mother going through that surgery. I talked to her the next day, and she was just like full on the inside. You know, me and my sister, you know, I will take this on the chin, man. I haven't been the best big brother. I haven't been the best uncle to her son. You know, I mean, as much as I could, always been a good uncle to my son, but to give him all I have in me it requires a little more time. You know what I mean? And to be a good brother to your sibling, I mean, you have to let people know how you feel about them on a regular basis, man. You can't be sparse with that. And, you know, she got on my ass about it, and I took it to heart. And she can see the difference, man. You know what I mean? It was just I went over to her house. You know, her guy is gone somewhere out of town, and you know I saw that there needed to be some weeding and some lemon going on around. I just went over there and did it. I went over there and cooked out the next day, and I told her, I said, man, things are gonna be different now. You know, I'm not gonna be so selfish with my time, and you know, that's just the way relationships, man. I'm big on relationships. I'm like that. To a certain extent with you all, you know what I mean? Trying to make sure that people know that you give a shit about them. You know, that's the point. You know, just, you know, unless you say it and tell people on a regular basis, you know, I think we all as human beings should practice letting people know how you feel. And sometimes it ain't words, sometimes it's actions. And so I had that going on in the last couple of days. We had a great time. My grandmother was there. She's in her, you may be 90-something years old. She was having a good time. It was just nice, man.
Well, I'm glad you got the chance to get back at it with your nephew, man. That's perfect. I know you want to sort of impart some of your football prowess and knowledge into him, and I think he'll be appreciative of it. You know, the only little advice I gave you, and I'll give it to you again, is like sometimes you can't. You know, you gotta use sugar. You know, spoonful of sugar first, man.
Yes, sir.
That's probably the best way that I could do it. Trick him into wanting it. You know what I mean? Make him think these things are his idea. That type of stuff. You know. But that's it, man. That's good. It's kind of funny what we didn't get to when we were talking about this the other day. Is like I'm like the exact opposite. When it comes to my niece and nephew, it's so funny because my sister's the one that really wasn't in my kid's life very much. So I cussed her out about it. It's like the exact opposite thing happened. So I cussed her out about it. But in doing so, it was like, look, you know what's going to happen now that you have kids? I'm going to spoil your kids. And it's gonna drive you crazy. So the first chance I got them a trampoline, so they were out there on that trampoline all the time, just drive like so. Facts is she needs to be in the backyard watching them on the trampoline or something. Make sure nobody busts their head. Bought them both bikes, got them out there. And anything I could do to just get them, put them in situations that require additional parenting to be a little bit of a jerk.
You did it with all that malice, man. What you did?
It's also a lot of love, bro. Because I love to go there and see them have fun on those things, but at the same time, it's like, ha ha.
That's the kind of shit that grandparents do. When they come get your kids, or you drop the kids off, they sugar them all up, get them all the sweets in the kitchen, eat all the cookies and drink all the juice and eat all the shit. And then you're going home. You're going home and bounce off the walls at your mama and daddy's house, man. You're getting the fuck up out of here. But that's different, man. I mean, it's family, man. It's some other stuff that goes on behind the scenes, man, that keeps me away from the bigger part of the family. Like when I can do it just like that, like between a select group of family members, that's cool. But the whole family, man, them Negroes too messy, man. They too messy, and I ain't with that shit, man. I ain't with it, bro. I just ain't with it.
Work. I know what you're saying, man. I'm kind of the same way. It's the upside is like, oh man, like my family's just the right, just the right size. The real downside is just that I sort of have two sides of the family. So we split it. It's like a good size situation over here and a good size situation over there. If we bring everybody together, all bets are off. It's an absolute riot. You know what I mean? So we try to keep the two sides at bay is probably the best way to put it, man. But it works out real well.
So Ron Winarski just asked, I'm just gonna let you answer this.
Oh, he's throwing
a very general question. I'm gonna speak.
He's throwing it over to me.
Ron Winarski says, "Do you think Bears will make the playoffs?" Question mark. Just give him a straight answer.
I'm gonna.
And I'm hardcore about it.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think the Bears are gonna make the playoffs. Sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes.
Good.
I'm gonna say yes. I think we sneak our way into there, and I'm not giving it to you just to be contrary to kids. I'm giving it to you that way with a little nuance to it. I do believe our defense can be superior once they get the flow of what they've been asked to do, and once they get used to doing it. Those on grass repetitions, I think they can be on the fringes of dominant, and it's going to show on the field throughout the year. And I also believe with that improved offensive line, even Caleb Williams being a second-year guy and being in his second offense in this since being a Bear, I think at some point he can have a little surge if they simplify the offense. And that's a whole bunch of ifs. It's a whole bunch of ifs, but I believe it can come together. I think we'll be right there for a playoff spot. Wherever the playoff spot is, I think we can do it, man. I think a 10-win season, 9-10-win season can get us
there. Patriots 12. Thanks for coming through. We don't get Patriots fans here very often, but thanks for coming through. I hate your team, by the way. I'm just messing with you. In any event, look, it is possible that we make the playoffs. The only reason I'm saying I don't think we do this season is because I think we take the league over in 2026. Like that's just the way that I've looked at this entire rebuild case scenario with under Ryan Poles' watch. Is I didn't think he selected the right guy at coach in the beginning. I thought it was going to take 4 years to flush out all the crap from the previous regime. That's basically gone down, including that coach, right? So everything's been flushed out. All the new blood is in except for a couple of key positions. And I'm going to say there's really just 3 of them. Those 3 positions are easily selected and covered off in the first 3 rounds of next season. We are in full go mode 2026 with a offensive genius coach, top quarterback, skill positions across the board. All we're missing, I'll just go the other cut to the chase. All we're missing is a top prospect defensive end, a high-end running back, and DeAndre Swift shut me up in 2025, please. And we probably need a safety. That's it.
I gotta holler. We gotta holler at B Shep. Hey, you the MC here, man. Kev. He just ripped one for us, man. Go ahead. Can you see what you see him putting that rhyme together?
It's a Nomad Network Chi-Town sound where the Bears break it down, gets passed around. The Bears in your ears, we don't play. Nomad's the voice of the monsters of the Midway. There you go.
That's what I'm talking about, B Shep. That's what I'm talking about, dog.
B Shep got bars, I didn't know.
I appreciate that shit, B Shep. I appreciate that. You know what? That just inspired me to show you guys something real fast. Hold on. This is just a preview of the intro of the new. We're gonna do Feed the Bears again. We're gonna reboot that and do it during the season. It's gonna be a day-to-day show. And here's what the intro sounds like to this point. Hold on.
Oh,
this is for you, B Shep. Just some hard boom bap hip hop. That's what my mind and spirit are, man. That's what I'm talking about. That was for you, B Shep. Appreciate you so much for that, bro. Appreciate it.
Talking about boom back. There's some cool stuff out there in the waves right now. Clips, check it out.
Yeah,
check out that new Raekwon as well. Check it out. The Slick Rick is nice. There's some nice music right now. Like I've been really hating on all the music for the last little while. It's been bad, but there's some good stuff out there, man. Check it out. Patriots 12, man. Like my little beef with your team is because we crushed you in '85 in the Super Bowl. That's where my little beef with your team starts. And your team had problems for decades as well. If you, I don't know how old you are, but your team had problems. And out of nowhere came Drew Bledsoe. And I love saying it like that because I thought Drew Bledsoe was the guy. And it turned out he wasn't. It was Tom Brady. And Tom Brady was that much better with respect to running Bill Belichick's system. And, multiple Super Bowls later, it's a legendary situation. I don't think anybody really saw that going down in New England the way that it went down. But there it is, man. There you guys go. Now, time for the Bears to do something very similar. And I have a feeling this could be dynasty level stuff, bro. Like, get us through the season. Like, what I expect in 2025 is maybe just outside of the playoffs is really my expectation. That's my expectation, but I expect to see actual viable offense in Chicago. And if there's viable offense in Chicago, the whole league is on notice. There's been defense in Chicago for 40 plus years. Mad defense. Give us some offense though, and what happens in the NFC?
Kids, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I didn't hear a damn thing you said. I'm hyper critical of what I just played, that intro I just played, and that beat I made.
Oh, you're just jamming to the beat again?
Yeah, I'm still working on it, man, in my head. Is it something that you could spit on? Is it something like an MC would hear and I can get on that? Is that something tight?
Yeah, it's a nice beat, man. It's nice. It rocks. It's a nice beat.
I appreciate that. It's more to it, by the way, but that was just for the intro. But yeah, man, it was all right, let's get to let's get to this shit, man, because we need to talk about the fact that we were all worried about, We were all worried about, and I felt like this could be a year that, and this is given the Bears history and the ownership and why people complain about the Bears all the time, every year in and year out, about how cheap they are. They don't do what regular winning teams do, championship teams do. They do what they have to do as far as the payroll goes. If you have to go over budget to make something happen, you go over budget to make something happen. We're in a space where we didn't know if our second rounders were going to get signed because we're in that space. And lo and behold, over this weekend, every last one of those guys got signed, including Luther Burden, who got a guaranteed almost $11 million, $10.9 million guaranteed, which I'm proud to say I'm a Bears fan. And I'm proud of the organization for not being that team to just be difficult in the situations where you have, in this situation, you got to understand times have changed now. The situation has changed. It is not what it was yesterday, where you can dog pay a second round player or not give him guaranteed money. That's changed. That changed overnight. And I'm glad to see that the Chicago Bears front office stepped up to the plate and gave him what he thought he was worth. And you drafted him at 30, what, 30, what, 30,
39 or 36.
So obviously you thought highly of the football player, so guarantee his money. And they did that. And I'm super duper proud of this organization for that.
Well, see, all this, like, y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all know me, man. Normally I'm in the money and I'm having a conversation about the business side of all this. I don't necessarily give a rat's ass about all that in this particular scenario. I'm just really glad at one part of the business, and it's that Ben Johnson's got his guys going on the field next week, and they're going to be on the field next week, with the slight exception of the hurt guy. What can you do? I know, don't draft hurt people. Anyhow, everybody signed. We'll see how they actually work out. I can't wait to hear, you know, the media's take on what Luther Burden looks like out there on the field, because we've all been waiting for it, and it's about damn time. So kudos to the Bears brass. Kudos to Ryan Poles for getting this thing locked down and done and out of the way so it isn't an eyesore. Because, man, I would have loved to hear this kid was on the field over the course of the last month or two, you know, during those early camps. It would have been great to see him and get a better look at what we have in this particular wide receiver. But I think we have a lot, and I can't wait to see it.
I heard Don Burrows back in the chat. He's back for some more shenanigans for this
Got
season.
all of Michigan out here, man.
I got to remind him what we just took from him and what we just applied to this offense and what it's going to do to you, Don. You're gonna get knotted up, and you're gonna come up missing again for a large part of the season after we get through putting them knots on y'all's ass. Y'all a shadow of yourself, man. I'm just telling you right now.
That's too funny. Hey, look, look. There's no way we're coming in fourth, though. Like, don't get me wrong now, Don. I said we weren't going to the playoffs. Ron's question was about the playoffs. I don't think we come in fourth in this division this time around. Like, what you're telling me right now is that J.J. McCarthy is the guy already. Ain't nobody know about J.J. McCarthy. Facts. So I don't expect him to be terrible, but I also don't expect him to be caliber. So there's that. I think he's going to have a little ways to go to get to where he needs to get to in the NFL. I think that leads the Minnesota Vikings into fourth place. I think that's how that winds up. I think the Bears wind up in potentially second place with a shocker over Green Bay, which still leaves your Detroit Lions in first place in the NFC, and that's fine. Problem is, you're gonna notice that Jared Goff isn't the right guy for the job. It's going to be clear and evident, and in 2026, you're going to be looking for a quarterback. Just saying.
Hey, by the way, Don, yeah, I know you remember seeing that last year. This ain't the same Bears team. This ain't the same Bears team whatsoever. They better in the trenches. Y'all got weaker. Y'all got a guy that I really, really like, and that was Tyreek Williams. I know he's gonna be a dog. And this is just me being real with you. I know he is.
Me too.
I know he's a dog.
We both spoke very highly. Like his tape speaks for itself. We spoke very highly of Tyreek. I was really hoping there was some level of potential for him heading over here in that second round. That was my thoughts around the situation. I know Nomad thought very similarly. So again, kudos to your team for getting him. That ain't the problems though. Your problems are on your offensive. Remember how much we were talking about a certain Mr. Ragnow last year, Don?
Frank Ragnow retired, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he ain't there no more. He ain't there no more. Is what I'm trying to say.
I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of a problem, right? Oh, wait a minute. Your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator are gone. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a problem. There's some things you're gonna have to think about there. I am going to say that I think you have talent enough to get this to hold on to the NFC North title in 2025. But I'm telling you, come 2026, all bets are off.
I don't think. I think this was the window for them to do it. Don, I'm telling you, that last year was the window for y'all to get that ring.
Oh, bro, they ain't getting no ring. What's wrong?
No, I'm just saying they had a talented enough team. They had the right coordinators. They had the right head coach. They had the right pieces on the offensive defense.
They had everything in place.
Decent in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Had everything you need, and the moxie to win.
Yep.
And y'all didn't get it done.
Yep.
Y'all didn't get it. I'm telling you, Don, right now.
Done. I was literally done.
Go ahead.
Don will remember me pulling for him. You know what I mean? I sat here on my show and I said, you know what? I'm pulling for y'all. I said it myself. I'm rooting for y'all to take this thing home and get it done. It's about damn time. And then you crash and burn. And it's kind of embarrassing. But
hey, Don, I'm telling you, dog, it's everybody says the same shit every year. Don, everybody gonna root for their team. But you know me, I'm different than the rest of these Bears podcasters out here. I'm gonna tell you the truth where I know the truth lies. And the truth is, we're not ready just yet. We're getting there. We're getting close. But you guys were ready last year. Prepared. That team was a team. I was actually rooting for y'all. And I hate to say that, but I was actually rooting. I wanted to see Detroit go ahead and get over that hump. I could take my Bears hat off for a minute to talk real reality football. I like the way they play football. I love it. But I felt like that was the window to get it. Y'all lost too much, bro. Y'all lost too much. And it ain't replaceable. I'm just telling you right now. That team was specifically built to win this championship. Y'all probably missed the window 2 years in a row. And so that window going to open up and it's going to close real quick. Now, I'm just giving you real football intel right there. That window done closed, bro. I'm telling you, you're going to be disappointed this year.
Yeah. Like, mostly because you lost your offensive coordinator. Like that's the big facts there, bro. That's the big facts. And you also lost Ragnow. Those two things are going to hurt your offense in a major way. The guy who was scheming, the man who was scheming Amon-Ra St. Brown open all day long, you don't work there no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're gonna notice somebody getting schemed open over here in Chicago. I'm not exactly sure who that someone is. I have a feeling it's gonna be Luther Burden, but somebody's about to get schemed open, right? And this is the type of offense that we needed here, with the type of offensive mind that we needed here. But see, you already got a Michigan trade going on in the chat.
Our window is open. Y'all, our house window ain't even open, bro. Y'all can't even get the shit out.
You got a ways to go, dog. You got a Pats. You got a ways to go. You guys ain't. There's no window chat right now. You know what I mean? Like there's no talk of a window for you guys. You guys probably got and you had a nice draft. I'm gonna say that, with the exception of the running back situation, which confused me. Like this, I'm glad I have a Patriots guy in the chat right now. Why do you think, Pats 12? This is for you, bro. Why do you think y'all drafted Travion Henderson? Like, was it just so that we couldn't draft him? Because that's the only thing I can think of. Ramondre Stevenson's a bad MF. Why do you think that they drafted Travion? Let me know in the chat, bro, when you get the chance. Anyways, I can't figure that out. You got two beast mode running backs and no wide receiver.
All right, I'm gonna chew on. I'm gonna get on Don a little bit more, and he think I'm trying to get on him just to be a Bears fan versus a Detroit Lions fan. I'm giving you straight up. I watched y'all all 22. I probably watched more all 22 than you did, bro, because we got Ben Johnson, and I even watched y'all's defense. You know, just because I like football. You know, I get to watching shit, and I'm like, let me see what their defense is like. I watch all of it. I'm telling you, Don, you got a window. And it closes up, and that thing is going to tighten up so fast on you. I think you guys, I would just say maybe 3 years. That year that they Justin Powell drive the hell out of Deshaun, what is this? Deshaun, whatever his name, Elliott, in the end zone. That year that Justin destroyed him, and y'all came out of nowhere and became a playoff team. That year, that last year of Justin's. That year, I think y'all had a team that could have competed and at least got, let's just say, quasi NFL championship worthy. I mean, NFC championship worthy. The next year, y'all supposed to won it. Y'all supposed to won it. And this year, y'all supposed to won it. Y'all should have at least 2 Super Bowls by this point. I'm telling you right now, bro.
Wow, that's saying big things, Nomad, and I can't. I wish I could actually argue with what you're saying. I can't. I honestly agree with that, bro. I think the Lions should have been into the last 2 Super Bowls, and you didn't. And I think that's terrible. I think that's. I think your I think your window is closing. If you can't get it done this year, I think it's definitely closed. My thoughts one more time. I don't think you have the offensive mind to basically counteract the interceptions that Goff throws. And that's the problem. Like Goff's like the most mediocre quarterback out there. I like him. I'm just not like what's happened. And this is like because he's mediocre is why Sean McVay was like, okay, well, I'm done. Let me trade up for let me get Stafford. Let me trade and we'll figure it out with Stafford. I'm done. I like Goff. I think Goff's actually got a great arm. The problem with Goff is he gets scared, he gets gun shy, and he coughs up ducks. You had a guy there that would make sure that those ducks sometimes resulted in a wide open wide receiver schemed up and tearing up into the end zone. I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. I have a strange feeling Amon-Ra St. Brown's numbers are going to take a major hit this season. I'm not saying he's going to, it's the end of his career. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to be as open as he used to be.
So let me get something clear with Don. I'm gonna read what he says. He says, "So Nomad win 2 Super Bowls, and Dan Campbell was only a third year coach. Poles can't get it right. 15 wins total, 3 years. Ben Johnson will see how hard this HC stuff is. Look, Don, I ain't you trying to give me this, but what if what about this? I'm telling you about your team. I know we suck. We're gonna suck until we start getting better. As of now, we suck. Let somebody from the Bears fan base tell you that watches football. We suck until we don't. You guys don't. So I'm giving you credit. All I'm trying to tell you, cuz, is that team saw a window and saw it close. I'm telling you guys, that window closed, Don. It's going to be heartbreaking watching this team this year. They lost too much, and it only takes. And this is from a football player's perspective, a defender. It only takes a certain amount of time before the teams figure out what your offensive style is. And everybody in the league is, everybody sees Detroit on that schedule and they start thinking about how potent that offense is, right? And so everybody's in the lab trying to figure out how to stop that offense. How do you get that offense contained and under control? It only takes a couple, 2 or 3 years. That's why I'm telling you that, Don. It's about what you guys do offensively, how long it takes the learning curve of the coordinators in the league to figure out what to do to that team to stifle that offense. And I'm telling you, the teams will have answers for whatever you guys are doing this year. I'm just telling you, Don. I ain't trying to chastise y'all. I know we suck. The Bears suck until they don't. You guys are really good. But I'm telling you, you missed the window, cuz. Telling you right now. You're going to tell me later on, you're like, man, you're right, no, man. Yeah, I know I was right. Y'all fucked up.
Yep. I wish I could argue with a word to say. I can't. You see it very, very similarly as to me, and we'll have to see. And my guy Patriots 12 is saying the Patriots are back. All right. Well, again, we'll have to see it when we see it. Although like you did get a couple wide receivers in this draft, so again, they're young rookies. Like similar things are happening in both areas. It's just a case scenario where both the Bears again and the Patriots kind of have to put up or shut up and prove that they're worth their medal. Your window is opening. It ain't open. It's opening. Ours is opening, right? I believe that we come out this season and we put up some real decent offense, prove that we are a defensive leader in the NFL, and put the whole league on notice. And 2026, with respect to the draft, should change things. I think it's going to change a whole bunch. Don, there's no way you're laughing, like, because what we're saying to you is y'all need to win the Super Bowl, then you can laugh.
That man gonna be sad face clown.
And there's no way you're winning the Super Bowl. Like, you're just not. You had the chance to do it this year, you didn't win the Super Bowl. You had the chance to do it last year, you did. You didn't win the Super Bowl. Fat chance you do it this year, minus Frank Ragnow, minus Aaron Glenn, minus Ben Johnson. Fat chance. But hey, stranger things can happen.
Honestly, it's one of the better built teams. I'm talking about from a front office standpoint, all the way down to the coaches, all the way down to the personnel. It's one of the better built teams I've seen in this little era of football.
Definitely the last 5 years.
It's a greatly built franchise, what they stand for, what they play for, everything that Detroit does, I love. And this is a football purist. But I'm trying to tell this man with all the honesty I can give him that there's a window. And when we get that team built, I think we're well on the way of getting there. Once we get to that point, we'll have that same window. Every team has the same window. Every single NFL team has the same goddamn window. And if you don't get it done, you don't get it done.
I gotta laugh, man, because even Patriots 12 giving it to him like what? Oh, Patriots 12. Even in Michigan, there ain't no love, bro. Even in Michigan,
you got to get it done, Don. Y'all ain't get it done.
That's too funny.
That's sad, man. That's sad. Yeah. Y'all like Cleveland, man. Y'all about bad as Cleveland. Cleveland.
Ouch. That's not fair. Even that's disrespectful, Doug. You can't do that. Anyways, look, like we've told you, we're giving you a little bit of love, man. We're giving the Detroit Lions a little bit of love. We think they have all the tools. I think they have all the tools to get. Sorry, let me rephrase. I think they had all the tools to get it done this past season. I think the team got worse.
All right, let's get down, Brent. Let's get down to Paul. Let me see what he's saying now. He said, "No man, talking like 85 wasn't zero. I mean, however many years ago." No,
what was no man? What was that year that when Detroit won? When Detroit won the Super Bowl, what was that year again?
Yesterday passed. What?
I don't know, but what was that year when Detroit? What year was it when Detroit won? Remember that year?
Detroit got an old hubcap as a Super Bowl old Ford hubcap in their lounge area. When everybody comes to visit Detroit and they thinking about signing as a free agent, we got a Super Bowl trophy. We got a big ass Super Bowl trophy to display. Y'all got an old Ford motor.
It's a Ford motor hubcap. You're damn straight. That's exactly what it is. It's still rolling down 8 Mile. It's just rolling.
Yeah.
Oh man!
All right. We gotta get to some more serious business now. Let's isolate this Luther Burden conversation to this, man.
Yeah,
$10.9 million as a guarantee means that he is going to be a viable piece in this offense. You don't guarantee somebody that much money and him not be a viable part in this offense. He's going to be a player. Just saying. He's going to be a figure, even though he missed most of the OTAs. He's going to be a figure in this camp.
I think he's going to be a bit bigger than just a figure, quote unquote. And the reason I'm saying that is, again, a lot of what Ben Johnson is going to want to do would be scheme out bunch formation, scheme out his tight end to do certain things. And or his slot receiver to do certain things. With Colson Loveland not quite back just yet, I think in training camp we're going to see a lot of our guy Luther Burden. I think he's going to scheme the heck out of Luther Burden. I don't think he's going to be better off for it.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, I didn't really think about this aspect of it because I really didn't see. I didn't give the Bears credit enough to be ahead of the curve and get this thing done and make sure they secured these guys and this particular one and making sure he got the money that he thought he deserved. I'm pretty sure he thought he was worth more than $10 million guaranteed, but this is what he got. He got 10.9, which is probably about 11 guaranteed. When you guarantee someone that much money as a rookie, he is going to be, if they're smart, he's going to be a focal point of what they do in this offense. He's going to be a figure. He's going to be heavily involved in this offense. And I think that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. When you secure the bag like that, you got to know the light is going to shine brightly on you now, son. You got what you wanted. Now the light's going to be bright on your ass, man. You under the microscope now. That's the thing.
Yeah, I hate that part about it. Like, he's a rookie. I'd love to give him a little bit of leeway on that, but ain't
gonna be no kid.
I know. I have a strange feeling in this scenario. I think he's gonna actually step into it. He's a solid wide receiver from what I've seen so far on film. I need to see it obviously on the field. I think we all do, and I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with what we see. Mainly because, again, those bunch formations that he likes to use clears things out, right? So we're gonna see these guys get open, and when I say these guys, I'm talking about that tight end who would be Colston Loveland. Right now, it's more likely gonna be Cole Kmet or something to that effect. Maybe Durham Smythe. But Luther Burden for sure, and likely DJ Moore in that bunch altogether. And you just break those guys out, and I don't know who you're covering, but the opportunity to get open is definitely there. The guy that I haven't talked about here today very much is, again, and somebody was saying it was Melon Smasher. He was saying in the chat that maybe it's DeAndre Swift. And the props that I do give DeAndre Swift has to do with him being a fantastic pass catching running back, right? So I think in that respect, that's just one more mouth that you can feed the football to and drive a whole bunch of additional yak. But back to Luther Burden, I think Luther Burden eats this season, and I'm so glad that he got the opportunity to get into camp fresh and get things rolling with his quarterback.
Yeah. Thing is, he's gonna be, and I don't want to add any more pressure, and we don't want to as a channel to be over here, adding more pressure to Luther Burden. But Luther Burden, he thinks he's him. He thinks he's him, and they paid him like he's him as a rookie. You got $10 million as a non-quarterback. That's a lot of rookies don't get that kind of money guaranteed. And so I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him as hell, because you got a nice little bag to go put in the bank and do the right thing with, man. I would say to Luther, if you hear me, I think a lot of these players hear these podcasts more than they let on, more than they say. My thing to you is, I would tell you, put that money in the bank and don't touch it. Get basic necessities. Get your basic essentials. Do whatever you need to do for mom. Do everything you need to do for
better advice than this. You finished though.
Do that. Get a home for them, and put the rest of that shit in the bank. Put the rest of that shit in the bank, and until you find out a definite way to expand on the dollars that you have, put that shit in there and do nothing to it. Absolutely nothing. Just let it get interest.
So here, let me tell you how to get money with it, though. Let me tell you how to get money with it.
You're gonna tell him some bullshit. He's gonna get broke.
Oh no. Especially when you have money. If you have money like that, you go get yourself a margin account. You borrow from yourself. You buy your house outright so you don't have a mortgage. You spend the whole thing on stock. You buy stock with it all. But like horizontal stock that pays you dividends. If you can do that, you can get yourself You made it. You got a $10 million contract. You can get $1 million a month in dividends, my dude. $1 million a month in dividends. You buy that house. You buy a house every month.
Yeah, we're gonna tell him to go to the strip club. Hey, look, here's what the thing. Kansas.
Hey, he could go to the strip club with $1 million a month. I'm just saying. A couple of times.
Making it rain. Make them.
You open up your own strip club every month. This is financial stuff, man. It took me my whole life to learn this too.
Hey, Luther, fuck making it rain. Make them strippers feel pain. Don't pay them shit. Just don't even go.
Oh, open up your own damn strip club. Is what I'm trying to say. Open up your own strip club. You get your own, bring the strip club to you.
At this point, until he's financially until you're financially literate, like you can be literate as a human being and to function in society, but financially literate is a whole different ball game. Until you learn those ins and outs and do's and don'ts, wills and won'ts, you bet your best to leave that money alone until you're solid. That stop.
The reason even if you pay somebody who is literate to handle it for you, the problem with leaving it in the bank is you're gonna lose it. The man gonna take it. Right? The man's gonna tax it and take it, and that's the problem with leaving it in the bank. That's why you buy, like, the reason why you open up a margin account and you get the stock is from a tax perspective. You're now taxed like a business. You're taxed at prime rate, which is around 3%, as opposed to like 33%. You're saving 30% on taxation, which is wild. Like I'm blessed in the world with some serious financial stuff that I've only come into understanding as over the course of the last 10 years. All right. I lost my job at some point. The only reason I'm staying up and I'm living is because of the science I just blessed the world with. There's guys who know this way better than I know. And there's my homie the bishop backing it up, man. He knows exactly what I'm saying. He's backing me up. Like you can't leave it in the bank. The tax man will eat it.
You just got to put it, like, you can secure money in certain kinds of there's certain kinds of, like, every time I turn around, I'm learning about new savings accounts and different laws that are passed here and there to secure your savings so they're not taxed as heavy as your average place. And so I don't want to get too deep into that conversation. That is definitely a conversation me, you, and Bishop should have doing another show.
There's a whole other show.
It's worth doing it. It's worth doing it for sure, kid. It's worth doing it because a lot of dudes, in this situation, ain't really sure about what to do with all that money. And you can, not knowing what to do, you can start getting itchy and you start spending on random shit. And next thing you know, you're dwindling that thing down to where you don't need it to be. And yeah. So anyway, we'll talk about that another time. So to get out of this Luther burden conversation, let me twist it into this. We had an NFI list that came out, non-football injury list that came out for the Chicago Bears. And on that list, it is, let me see, Case Keenum, Ian Wheeler, and Ja'Day Walker, a receiver out of, I think, Texas A&M, and Jalen Johnson. Let's push Jalen Johnson to the side for now and speak about Case Keenum, Ja'Day Walker, and Ian Wheeler. And I think Ian Wheeler and Ja'Day Walker are really, now I'm assuming that hopefully with Ian Wheeler, it's just some maintenance stuff going on with the repaired knee. Maybe they need to make sure that, maintenance is done right and he's right for this camp. Maybe they keep him out a couple of days, 2 or 3 days before they let him go out there and go full go. And they just want to make sure the guy gets a fair shot and shows the best Ian Wheeler that he has available. I'm just assuming that's what's going on with Ian Wheeler. I'm hoping that there's not something more significant going on. I'm just thinking that's probably what the Bears are thinking. Make sure he's right before we put him in the camp.
I don't know. Maybe it's more significant than that. It worries me a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm hoping he's a bit of a diamond in the rough for us, man. I'm hoping he's a bit of a diamond in the rough. But right now, it's rough. I'm saying, like, that's where we are with Ian Wheeler. So again, fingers crossed that he can pull through. He's coming off a pretty major injuries and surgery. So any setbacks ain't good.
Not just saying Case Keenum is now off of it, so he probably have some more updated news for us.
I'm glad. Thanks, Naj. Shout out to you, man. Big up to you. For me, I'm a little bit less worried about Case Keenum physically than I am worried about Case Keenum mentally. All right. So what I really mean is his knowledge and understanding of the quarterback position, being a backup, being through multiple offenses. That's where his impression is going to be felt much more so than physically out there on the field doing it. There will be aspects and situations where Caleb's going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Can somebody go out there and show me what you're talking about? And that somebody would likely be Case Keenum. But as long as he's there mentally, I'm fine. Like I'm much less fussed than I am with an Ian Wheeler situation.
When I first saw the Case Keenum on the list, first thing that came to my mind, I know unless he had some kind of RV accident or some shit like that, a couple days ago, I'm like, why is he on that list? The first thing that came to my mind, kids, I ain't gonna lie to you, and it would make sense logically to you if you think about it. They're keeping him there on that list to give those other three guys a legit, like, to me, Caleb, Tyson, and Austin Reed need a legit chance to really go at each other. And I ain't talking about for the number one quarterbacks, but I'm talking about for the 2 spot, the 3 spot, and things like that. They need more reps. That's what I was thinking, like making sure
that's a good call.
And those guys get more reps, and we get to really see what we have. That's kind of where my mind went when I saw that.
That's a good call. Again, like I say, the value he brings to the table is mental much more so than physical at this present time. And maybe they want to sort of give, Tyson Bagent's been out there asking for a more true to life quarterback competition. He ain't getting it for the first position. We all know that. But maybe they kind of took it to heart and said, you know what? You want competition? We'll see if Austin Reed can beat you out for the number 2 position. How's that for competition? So we'll see what it looks like at the end of the day. I think both of those guys deserve to get the opportunity to show off their stuff. And I think Austin Reed is actually pretty solid for what it's worth. So we'll see.
Yeah, I do believe this is as optimistic as I am about this whole offense, about the quarterback position. I have to be honest. This is a new offense. You got to Tyson Bagent has 1 year over those other 2 guys, Caleb and Austin Reed. Austin Reed and Caleb came at the same time. Austin Reed kind of reminds me of Case Keenum. And knowing the timing of his feet and knowing when to get that ball out, he trusts his feet, he trusts the rhythm of the offense, and he'll get that ball out on time. If given reps, that guy impressed a lot last year. When he had an opportunity, did he not, kids? Did that guy not impress when given an opportunity?
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not mad if they give him an opportunity to be the number 2 versus Tyson Bagent. I thought he played very well.
Yeah, I think they got a good thing going on in that quarterback room. I really do, especially in this Ben Johnson's offense. I think those particular guys, along with Caleb, those guys are more loyal. I would just say Case Keenum, Tyson Bagent, and Austin Reed are more loyal to the pocket quarterback footwork that the offense that we run requires. And I'm talking about the West Coast offense, knowing that the footwork and the timing is everything. You got to be back, and when that back foot hits, you got to be releasing the football, whether it's out to the fans in the stands or to a player. You got to get rid of whether it's in the dirt. You got to be willing to get rid of that ball. And so this offense in particular, those guys are particularly more structured as quarterbacks to perform in this offense actually than Caleb. But Caleb has the tool set and the skill set to perform in it. He can do it, and he can do it at a high level. But just knowing that those guys are behind him, it's gonna put a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams to get right. And so I think it's what I'm leading to is those guys really knowing what a West Coast offense requires and how you have to be loyal to the footwork and let your feet tell you what to do with the ball. Those guys are going to put significant pressure on Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams in just by as a byproduct should be better for it.
This is why you have competition for the position. This is also why you have veterans, as your backup. These guys are going to show him stuff that he never really thought about, and hopefully it's going to influence his game and make his game that much more sharp. And that's all you can ask for with respect to having a quarterback room, man. They're not going to take the number one spot away from the kid. That goes without saying. But hopefully he can pick up some game, right? You got to pick up some game from these other three guys. And I have a strange feeling they all sort of, and I can break it down like this. So like Tyson is a physical specimen. And when I say that, I mean he gets after it with respect to working out and being athletic, right? Like that's Tyson. You just kind of broke down what Austin Reed brings to the table with respect to footwork and timing and things of that nature. And again, then you have Case with, again, veterancy, knowledge of different offenses, etc. Roll all three of those things up into a ball, and that's a really good look for Caleb to aspire to and learn from. So I'm hoping that there's a little bit more for him this time around this season than there was last year.
It wouldn't surprise me any to hear, and I'm just warning Bears fans. I just tell you the truth, and sometimes the truth turns you into the enemy in this fan base, but I ain't scared of conflict, man. So just for the record, you might hear stories about Caleb Williams struggling from time to time with this offense and getting the ball out on time and getting rhythm stuff together, getting rhythm stuff going. And you might hear stories that those other quarterbacks aforementioned are doing a whole lot better. And yet they're getting that ball out, and when they get their reps, they're looking sometimes better than Caleb Williams. You are likely to hear that story during this training camp. I'm just warning you now. And I just described to you why that is. Because they're just better adept to this style of offense than Caleb Williams, who's getting used to being under center and what play action and a pro-style offense requires. This is just being real as a Bears fan and not delusional about what the fuck to expect. You can get all these other podcasts that'll tell you, okay, we're going to do this. You're going to all that old bullshit is that's bullshit. He's got to learn. He has to learn, and learning he will. He's going to get better for those guys being in that building with him. He has no choice. Absolutely none.
None whatsoever, right? So I love the fact that there's a little bit of competition there, but end of the day, I think it's all just knowledge and learning being transferred over to the guy that they want to hold, manage that rock under center for the foreseeable future. But I do expect there to be a little bit of growing pains, right? Like, and this is half the reason why I sit back and I say I don't expect a playoff berth this season. There's going to be growing pains of some kind, right? There definitely will be. This hasn't even been tried and tested yet. It's all new stuff. So all brand new. It's going to take them a little while to get acclimated. First thing that I'm going to sit here and say, and I've said it before, it's just that I appreciate a coach in this scenario that's about the details, yo. If you're about the details, man, if you're yelling at guys for just not being in the right spot and making sure that they're in the right spot, a lot of the BS that you could run into falls by the wayside. You get discipline, you get structure, and that's, to me, with the last few coaching staffs, that was just missing.
You know what, kids? I think any Bears fan, and shout out to Damon Rule, who just joined in. He says, join late, catching up, mad respect for the personal transparency the guys show. Appreciate you. And I'm gonna give you a little bit. This is what I believe Bears fans should realistically, if you really love what Caleb Williams can bring to the table, if you really believe in his talent, then you should really look forward to the struggle that he is going to go through. Look forward to those notes and some of those reporters getting on there. Oh, I don't know about Caleb. All that old bullshit they do on their podcasts. Look forward to those conversations because that way you know he's going to be corrected. He's going to get better because of those moments. That's what you should. There is no such thing as a straight line path to greatness. Greatness comes out of struggle, homeboy, homegirls. It comes out of struggle. He has got to go through it in order to get to what we believe Caleb Williams can be. So I look forward to those days. I'm actually waiting for those.
I'm gonna give you an analogy for where you're at. And so last Wednesday we started talking a little bit about the Superman movie. And the analogy I'm giving you is like with any situation, there has to be a level of adversity for you to overcome, right? If a superstar situation, Michael Jordan is another it's a great example, right? There was so much adversity with those early Bulls teams that he had to overcome, especially again, given the how good the Knicks were, how good the Pistons were at back in the day. You had to overcome that to become Michael Jordan. There are some hurdles here for Caleb Williams to jump over. If he's able to do that, I think the sky's the limit. And that's the analogy that I'm making. If I throw it back at Superman, the movie, personally, I don't think that there was like an existential threat that required the Superman in this movie. It was part of the reason why I didn't really like it. I need something. I need doomsday. I need a big existential threat that requires the Superman to solve it. That wasn't really what we got in that movie. But in this case, we're talking bringing it back to Caleb Williams. A little bit of adversity is what you want. He will learn. He will get better from it and improve. So I expect exactly what you're saying, though, man.
Yeah. You want a little sidebar note that's totally opposite of what we're just talking about?
Sure.
Give you a little nugget.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a statement, and I'll let the people in the chat and everybody watching the show, because a lot of people that Trips being one of them, and Trips is anti age people. He is anti-age when you get anywhere near the 30-year range. That mark is a no for Trips. But Trips is Trips. If I told you the top 3 safeties that Kevin Byard was in the top 3 in tackles in the league last year, would you believe that?
If you're asking me, considering I watched every single football game last year, he was screaming down, but laying tackles down, especially after Jaquan Brisker went, as they say in Quebec, il disparu. But yeah, I believe it.
Okay, so he did in the season. I don't know exactly where he was at, but he was in the top 3. He was in the top 3 towards the end of the season. I think he landed there. So to me, a safety, outside of when there's passing downs and you need to play, depth and you're making sure you're properly aligned to make a play on the ball, most of the time you need to be making tackles, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you have a safety in your building that is top 3 in the league in tackles, you have a really good safety, kids.
So, like, one of the reasons why I was excited that they got him to come here in the first place was his tackle number, bro. His tackle numbers have traditionally been high, right? And like, he's coming in a situation where we're complaining about A.D. Jackson not wanting to tackle anybody, right? So I have no interest in getting rid of Kevin Byard. You ain't gonna hear that from me, man. I know Trips is a different guy. Hey, man, you know what? I thought there were certain players last year who jumped out to me, and he was definitely one of them. No two ways about that. He put the wood down when the need be.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that And I'm going to go on record and say Kevin Byard will get an extension if healthy. I'm knocking on wood. If he's healthy and playing the football he played for Chicago the last couple of years, he's going to get an extension, and he's going to deserve it because we got one of the best freaking safeties in football. And I keep saying that to people, and everybody's just like, we're going to get rid of. I'm one of them people that thinks you don't know what you're talking about when you say that.
So, Nomad, I'm just looking at these stats now. So, 130 tackles for this guy last year.
Good God.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Say that one more time.
130 tackles. That's mad. That's madness. I was happy when I saw 122 during his time in Philadelphia, as well as 100 and 111. Like his tackle numbers are generally over 75, with the exception of 2 years. One was his rookie season. You know what I'm saying? Like he's out there laying the wood. He does it every single year. So I don't know about an extension now, and the only reason that I don't, like, they're going to extend him. The only reason that I don't is are they going to extend him for bigger money or similar money? If they're extending him for similar money for maybe 2 more years, I'm fully in. Like I'm totally with it. You still draft a safety. You go draft your safety, and you have Kevin Byard in place. Kevin Byard helps bring up that new young man, and we're off to the races with a new safety in the next little bit. But
I would say this is kind of left out in the conversation when people speak about Kevin Byard. I'm talking about he's a utility player. He can play either safety role.
Yeah, he could
play high. He can play low. And the thing is, I just got to watching the last game of the season. He was still full throttle in the very last game of the season. He's not a guy that you can look at him on the roster and say, can we depend on him for this week? He's not one of those guys. That is the value of that is immeasurable, kids. I'm a pound the table for Kevin Byard because I think we have a player inside the building that can make us right when we're wrong. Kevin Byard can correct shit live during a play that got way wrong. Kevin Byard can fix it. That's what kind of player we have. We were fortunate, absolutely fortunate to get him.
No arguments here, man. Again, certain players jumped out to me. He jumped out as a leader as well, right? I know we're talking about tackles, but he's the guy who's like, hey, Matt Eberflus, why are we in the softest possible coverage, giving up mad yardage for this Hail Mary to go down here in a minute?
Thank you, sir.
That was Kevin Byard. You know what I'm saying? He was the guy who stopped and brought the veterancy to the table and was like, this ain't right. We're about to get cooked. What are you doing? Right? Like this is one more level of respect I have for that guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows the game of football, knows defense, and he's a willing tackler. Heck, at 130, willing is the wrong word. He's trying to take your head off, and I love it.
You mean 230, I believe.
No. Take it easy now.
No, you meant 230, right?
I said 130. 130 is a lot of tackles, dog. Like
no. I thought you were talking about his weight.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Okay, I got you. But yeah, I had to do that as a sidebar because I'm a Kevin Byard fan. Me being a DB, I know what that guy has to do back there. And I know adjusting to going from a zone coverage and having to fill space and making sure the dead spots aren't so dead because you're there. Because that's what a zone coverage is. It's dead spots in that zone. And making sure those dead spots aren't unoccupied is a lot of things that he did. And like I tell people all the time on this channel, like when you start judging the safety and measuring what safety is and can be, start thinking about the things that don't happen. You have to look at the all 22 when it comes to safeties. If you don't look at the all 22, you're not going to see the bigger picture. It's what doesn't happen on the field while that guy is out there. That's how you measure a safety. It's the plays that don't happen because he's there. Seriously.
No, it's true. And you can only see that on all 22. You're not going to see that on just regular game film. Big shout out to Bear Truth. Shout out to you. He's saying the Byard's still good. He's a team leader with high IQ. with the ability to get turnovers, I could see a 2-year extension, team friendly, and that's exactly what I'm saying too. I can see that. I'll be frank here. I don't believe he got a big payday to come to the Bears in the first place. I think it was sort of mid-grade good money, and I'm under the impression he'll sort of stay along those lines and continue on for another couple of years and ride his way out. But that's my hopes too, man. I think, TJ, Kevin Byard, Kyler Gordon, Andrew Billings, Javon Dexter, those guys jumped out to me with respect to last season in a different way on the defense.
I'm gonna layer one more thing before we get off this subject, and this is for you, Melon Smasher. Kevin Byard is a BITCH on tight ends. On tight ends, he is a problem on tight ends. That's like if you want to say, okay, give me outside of filling holes and making sure he makes plays and makes tackles. What's the best thing? Second best thing about Kevin Byard? He will lock down your tight end. He will take your best tight end and take it personally. Look at it. It's on tape. It's on tape. I will just leave that there. I'll leave that there for all the naysayers about Kevin Byard, about giving him an extension. I think the Bears would be stupid not to be quite honest with you. We'll leave it there unless you got anything else to say, kid.
No, I'm good with, like I said, I'm good with the Byard conversation across the board. I think he's been nothing but a help and a boost for the secondary. I think he'll continue to be just that. We needed a wanton tackler. We got it in Jaquan Brisker, but good Lord, we got it again in Kevin Byard. We can get a little I'll give Melon Smasher his little bit of due. We can get a couple more interceptions in the mix. I ain't gonna complain.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that Melon Smasher at all. I got you. I feel you, and I see where you're at with it. I ain't mad at that whatsoever. But I'm just talking about the X's and O's, and I'm telling you, there's other stuff to the game that you can be an impact on the game without actually having the splash plays. It's just like an edge rusher. You look at an edge rusher and you measure an edge rusher based off how many sacks he has. And if you're not looking at the actual game and seeing where he impacts the game, you might miss probably half of it. You know what I mean? So there's things to be said when it comes to those kinds of stats and, arguments about that kind of thing. We'll just leave that there. But it's not like he's wrong and I'm right or vice versa. It's just it's both of the things can be equated. But it just depends on who's looking at whatever it is. You should have a certain perspective of how you should value a player based on everything, not just, the splash plays. But here's the next thing, kids. Some guy on Twitter says he spoke to Pose at a restaurant. And everybody by now, I know every guy in this chat that has a Twitter account has seen this on Twitter.
I have a Twitter account. I haven't seen this. Keep going.
I think he's I want to say he's a Bears content creator for some channel. I don't know. I want to say Bears season, but I'm not sure. But he says he was at a dinner and Poles was there and he asked Poles. He said, "Hey, are you done making moves?" And Poles' response was, quote, "Keep an eye on edge rusher." And I'm just going to put that there and, we can respond to it however you want to respond to it. But that's, that got everybody
I'm not even take the bait on this one. It's fine. So long story short, let's just see what goes down, of course, next couple of weeks, right? Let's just see what goes down. Let's see what kind of impression is felt by way of pressure coming from the defense. That's all that is, right? Let's see what that looks like. We don't know if we have that yet. There's two, and you just kind of addressed it a little bit. There's two ways of looking at that edge, and it's, are you holding the edge? Are you setting the edge? Are you holding it? Cool. Props. But you also could be getting more pressure. Can you get pressure? So it's just two schools of thought here. A lot of these guys out there can do both. So That's where we are with the edge. What do we really have with respect to both sides of that edge? We know that Montez Sweat is what we want on the other side, and that's cool, but he can't do it alone. Upside is the interior, I think, is going to get a heck of a lot more pressure this time around. So if teams just figure out they can run on the left-hand side of the field, it's a problem. We got to make sure that there's pressure on that other side too, or at least that we can dial it up sometimes. So the names of Darius Smith has been floated around. I'll kind of sort of leave it there. That's about as much bait as I'll take here. He would work. We know we can get pressure. We know the price tag won't be astronomical at this point in his career. So, maybe.
So I would say, with respect to that guy that did that put that out on Twitter, I'm not going to call him somebody that doesn't know what he's talking about. He's clickbaiting. I don't know the guy well enough. All I know is people bit the bait. I know people bit the bait, content creators, and people put it out there like they think there's some legitimacy to it, and it's all it does is lead up to the point I've been making all off season after everybody was so upset because we didn't get the edge rusher in the draft. Everybody was really upset. There's a portion of the fan base very upset about that, feeling like, hey, we missed the ball there.
Yeah, we did.
And my opinion is this. I think they feel good about the players in that room. Number one, they feel good. Let's just say cautiously optimistic about those football players in that room. And I'm talking about from Montez Sweat to Booker to Dominique Robinson to Daniel Hart, everybody in that mix talking about Dio Odingbo, everybody in that room. Everybody in that room, they feel good about. And it all leads to what we've been saying all offseason, kids, is they're going to wait until they put the pads on these guys and actually see what we have when the live bullets are flying.
Yeah.
And it makes nothing but
sense. That's it, man. You got to test the water.
And all you can do is hope. All you can do is hope, kids, that the player that you might covet, or a player or two that you might covet, is still available. You just hope. But everybody knows when the pads go on, and a week into it, that's when moves start. That's when the chain reaction starts to happen. Everybody knows that.
So this chat's, shout out to all y'all in the chat, man. You guys are, Black Diamond jumped in. Richard Long's out there, and the Immortal Nod just laying it down, as well as Bear Truth 9. Ron Winarski. Hey, man, shout out to all y'all. And Crims is killing it as usual. Reason I'm just giving you guys a little bit of love because some of the stuff you're hitting with is crazy, and Naj hit me with this one. Montez can't get hurt either, right? And like that's a big one. Like when I caught that in the chat, I was like, oh snap. Yeah, they probably need one more edge in case of that situation. Right? Just one more. Like that can't happen. He can't be hurt, can't be injured, can't be at half. He can't be half stepping, to quote, ain't no half stepping, to quote Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? Like that can't be the situation. It has. There probably has to be another guy they can rely on. So yeah, maybe a move at the DE position is warranted legitimately. Like I didn't really think about it from the Montez being hurt situation, but once you throw that in, Rap, you ain't wrong, Rap. You ain't wrong, man. I thought they would have hit. Man, I thought they would have hit the edge in this draft almost for sure. And they went about this draft, in my opinion, a little bit completely differently than I would have done it. I'm just a podcaster, but completely differently than my thoughts about all this. They went and they attacked a very specific set of things, and those things were more specific to what Ben Johnson wants to do this year, and that's cool. Unfortunately, though, we kind of left a couple of edge rushers on the table that you might have wanted to double back on. What can you do?
there's a ton of good, really good edge rushers in this draft that I felt like the Bears should have pursued.
Me too.
It's I think prerogative is the whole thing to say here. It's the word for the moment here. It's prerogative. What was Bears' prerogative during that moment? During those moments when they could have got some high quality edge rushers to bring in here and develop. It was prerogative, bro. It was prerogative. What did they think when they got together as a collective, as a team, I'm talking about the coaches and scouting department, when they got together and said that, hey man, listen, this is where we should go here. Us on the outside, we feel good about somebody like me. I should be the one bitching the most because I ain't gonna lie. I feel like I did the most work in the off season as far as these players go. I'm talking about. I feel like I did more than I ain't just talking about on this channel. I'm talking about every goddamn body. I worked my ass off studying these guys, and I knew the qualifications of all these edge rushers that were up in this draft, and they decided not to go there. I could have been like, you know what, the Bears really fucked up. They really fucked this up. They really screwed the pooch here. But instead of going that route, I have the perspective of they have professionals inside that building that we believe know exactly what they're doing. And their prerogative was not to do that for their reasons. And that's it. Only that's I can get carried away, and why would I keep all of that on me? They did what they did, man. That's just what it is. And I kind of have to respect their moves.
You're a better man than me in that. That's all I can say there, man. You're a better man than me because it's big. And here's my argument, and it's very simple. It's that you went out in free agency and you got Grady Jarrett. Cool. So you got yourself you're kind of good on the line. You got guys in the line, and you got another guy on the line instead of an edge. Like he's on the line, but I mean interior, right? But like that's my thoughts. I think they could have they could have went edge there, but maybe by the time they made the move for Shamar, the guy that they wanted just wasn't around, and he was the next guy on their board with respect to their board. So it's tough. I really thought that they would have hit the edge rusher position in that draft. They didn't. I'm a little baffled as to why, because the real problem is now it puts you in a situation where, well, here's the flip side. The flip side is they went and they got Dale, right? So they went and they got Dale in free agency as well, and maybe they felt that position was square, right? So, all right, cool. All right. So I just talked myself off the ledge there in mass public on the internet. There you go.
Yeah. Damn it. I could have definitely taken some of that shit to heart when there was no need for me to do it. I don't get paid to do it. I just do it for you all, and I'll let you all know exactly who the guys were out there. It was always going to be their prerogative at the end of the day. It was always going to be the Chicago Bears front offices and the coaching staff's prerogative, which way to go in this draft for whoever. And this is what they did. You know, I mean, it almost feels like you spent a lot of time wasted in your life I can't look at that. It's a sacrifice that you make to make sure you give out good content for the fan base and make sure they're aware of all these players that are available to the Chicago Bears. That was my job, and I took it personal. And so I don't carry any hard feelings about that. I think they're right to take their time and wait until they put these guys in pads and let them have contact, let them hit for a week. And I actually asked Greg Gabriel when I had time to go into all those show. I think it was the last show, not the show before last. So a couple of Tuesdays ago, I went into Greg and all those show.
Nice. Okay.
I was able to go in there and I had a conversation with him kind of, through the chat. And I asked him, I said, look, how long do you think once they put the pads on, will it be before they decide they need a piece at edge rusher? And he didn't give me a specific date or amount of time. He just said like me, it won't be long. It won't be long because it doesn't take that long once they put the pads on. They give you enough one-on-one reps. They give you enough 7-on-7 reps. that give you enough 11-on-11 reps to see if you can consistently get around that curve or beat that tackle in front of you, make a play on the ball, make a play on the quarterback, change the trajectory of a ball, all that kind of stuff that an edge rusher needs to prove that he can do to be on a professional franchise and be in rotation. So now we're talking about time space. And I've told you guys, give it a week. And so let's just pull this up on the screen right now. Hold on. Give me a second.
All right.
Give me 1 second. Let me pull this down. I'm going to share the screen. Give me a minute. Oops. Give me a second. All right.
What do you got?
Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Oh, here's a. Oh, okay.
All right. So here's the Bears. So they get there on the, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 21st, right?
Yeah.
So by the time the 25th gets there, that's a few days later. That's a public practice. And so in between time, they're going to be out of pads. And I don't even know if the 25th is going to be a padded practice. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I knew the date when they was going to be having padded practices, but I'm not sure right now when those practices are going to be. I believe those guys are still they'll be in shells by this time.
I feel like Bishop was saying that that the Tuesday they're starting padded.
Tuesday?
I'm
this coming Tuesday?
Keep talking. I'm gonna double back and look.
I hope so. Shit, I would. For me, I'm ready to put everybody in pads the day they get in the building. But if they padding up on the 22nd, I think I did hear that date before.
I thought I heard something about that. Like I said, I thought I read Bishop mentioned it in the chat. There he is. Hold on.
I would love to see those guys get in pads early. I don't care what they know. I want to run through 7-on-7s in pads, but just not tackle, but just have the pads on. I want pads on at all times.
Can't argue, man. The earlier you can get that evaluation, the better. And I think we need to evaluate that line a little bit. That both sides of that line is really where I think evaluation is required. But I just mean, the tackle competition has to be real and legit. And once they figure out who that tackle is going to be, that helps exponentially, man. That's it's a big piece on the other side, as well as that edge rusher. Can you get pressure, right?
So I'm gonna give you a prediction, kids. And I'm just gonna give you an arbitrary date here, very arbitrary. I'm gonna say by the end of July. So by the time we get to the 31st, there'll be a decision made inside Hallis Hall. Inside Hallis Hall, there will be a decision made of whether or not we need to bring in an edge rusher, or let's say a running back for that matter as well. But let's just talk about edge rusher for the conversation. If there's an edge rusher that needs to be brought into this team and we don't have what we need to going into the season, we'll find out by, let's say, between the 31st and the 1st of August. Those 2 dates, to me, I would circle. We'll find out if it's true that the Bears will put on pads on the 22nd. By this point, we will know everything we need to know.
All right. I'm in full agreement with that. I don't think the first. So veterans show up on Tuesday, so I don't think the first padded practice will be anywhere near there. I think we're probably looking at the 26th.
Yeah, that's a good. Even then, at the 26th, that's a good 3 to 5 days in pads. That's a good 3 to 5 days in pads, and you'll find out a lot in those 3 to 5 days. A couple, 2-3 days, you'll know. You just give that guy, the people that you have question marks around, you got a question mark surrounding Dominique Robinson. You got a question mark surrounding whoever. 3 to 5 days will get you where you need to go as far as decision making goes. In my opinion, that'll get you exactly where you need to be. So, in my opinion, don't wait no longer than that, because now it's going to be a lot of teams that's going through the same exact thing and going through the same time and space. And they're like, okay, we right there on teetering on the edge, whether we want to make this move for this edge rusher. Can we, you don't want to wait too long is what I'm trying to get at. Other guys will get your guys.
You're right. That's going to, man. Yeah, that's what they need to do. They need to go get an edge. And I don't think they need a world beater. I just think they need to get a pass rush specialist, somebody who can get back there and do some damage. Really puts a guy like Dominique Robinson on blast, puts him on notice.
Yeah.
Right? That's we need upside on the bench in a rotation as opposed to a question mark.
Last thing before we roll out, you put on about Za'Darius Smith, and I like that move too. I will be absolutely 100% good with that move. But the guy that I would really like to have in this moment ain't Trey Hendrickson. It's Matthew Judon. That's the guy that I want to
put on over Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I mean Trey Hendrickson is a sacrifice, bro. That's a we can do Matthew Judon for a year, maybe 2. We're stuck with Trey Hendrickson for 3 to 4 years, and I'm not saying that's a bad marriage. I'm saying that under the circumstances, while you're trying to figure out some stuff with this coaching staff and making sure you got the right pieces and you're in alignment with everything, why jump the broom so fast on a marriage like that when you can get a really, really quality football player in Matthew Judon? And you don't have to get married to that for long. I'd say Matthew Judon, and I know for a fact that Poles wanted him. It's reported out there that Poles was on him last year. He was on him, and they were barely missing each other as far as the contract and the terms are concerned. I think it was a length of contract. I think he wants a little more security than the Bears were willing to give him at that moment. That's the way the reporting sounds.
What wasn't even that. He just wanted. He's to my understanding, he's from Atlanta. He wanted to go to Atlanta, and that was it. I think the money was almost the same. He might have even taken a bit of a cut with respect to what the Bears offered him. But man, I don't know if he's like I don't think he's like free and clear like that. You know what I mean? I think it might be a situation where they would have to give up some level of capital to secure Matthew Judon's services unless he is cut by Atlanta, which is possible because Atlanta, I believe, drafted an edge. Let's take a look here. Atlanta draft somebody on the edge.
I think he's the best player for the situation. If we feel like we're if we're leaking a little bit on the other side of Montez Sweat, along with Dio Odingbo, I think Judon would. He's a guy that I think, I'm telling you, I know from watching him playing at Baltimore that he can slide on the inside from time to time, especially on third down. He can give you a very fast pass rushing group, that NASCAR package. He can get it done from the interior too.
Man, I wish the Giants would let him go one of their guys. That would be nice. They had a whole bunch of pass rush going on over in New York, and I'm not sure how they're going to fit everybody on the field, but it is what it is. So Atlanta drafted James Pierce Jr. So they may well cut Matthew Judon. It's like that's not crazy. So they've got Leonard Floyd on one side. They potentially would have James Pierce Jr. They had a couple more guys there, but they could let Judon go.
Hey kids, talk for a second. I'm gonna go and get me a red stripe, a Ray beer.
Okay, right. Getting yourself some Yard beer, man. That's good stuff. Like me a red stripe, actually. But yeah, man. Personally, I think Zadarius Smith is a better move. He's much more free and clear. I don't believe that would require any capital at all. You bring Zadarius Smith over here. You keep him in the NFC North, where he's already made his home for a couple of teams, and you let him get after a quarterback, which is what he does best. I think that works, and I also think that he's at that age where you don't have to pay him super premium bucks and or give up capital to do it, and that's why I made the suggestion. Trey Hendrickson, yup, you're paying big bucks. You're getting the job done though, no question. But you're paying big bucks. You might also be coming up out of a potential selection in the following year. You know what though? Even that might not be a crazy move for Ryan Poles to make. Like, just means that you're not going to develop your own edge rusher at the end of the day, just what it means. But maybe he gives up a high-end pick or two to get that guy in the building. And then
I know I left you talking about edge rusher, but I'm not a lager beer guy. Red is a lager. It's only two lagers I really would go after in the store. It's Red Stripe and it's a Killian's. The only two lagers I'll go after in the store. But my preference is definitely Red Stripe. There's something about that beer in that little old school thick ass bottle. It stays cold way longer. I think it's about the dexterity of that bottle.
It's here's what I think it is. I think it's actually the shortness of the bottle.
That too.
That's what I think. I think it does. I think the thickness, you're right. I think it keeps the beer colder, and you're more likely just to pound the entire beer as opposed to leaving, that warmness, leftover warmness in there. So
Okay.
I know what you mean. I if I'm drinking Red Stripe, I seldom leave anything in the bottle.
Then there's nothing in that bottle but memories when I'm done with a Red Stripe. I love me a Red Stripe.
Strong as hell, Dunbar says. I don't know. Again, like I'm talking like
Red Stripe strong. What?
Well, not to me.
Man, Red Stripe is the shit. You put that. Go get you a 12 of them things. Put them in some ice. Grab you a cooler and let them things sit there and marinate for a couple hours before you start drinking them.
Yeah, that's good. Good beer for me, but
water.
Same token, Canadian beer is a little bit stiffer, so I'm just saying.
I like Killian's. That's another lager. Another one that I really like is that people don't talk about enough is Stella Artois, but that's not a lager.
Stella, you like Stella?
I love a Stella, man. I love me a Stella.
Stella.
I just gave you my favorite beers in the world. I love an old school Michelob too.
I don't mind Michelob at all. Like, it's one of my coming out to see you guys. You know what I mean? Coming out to the U.S. Michelob's a good beer, man. Michelob's a good beer.
I think Michelob's a great beer. All right, that is it for me, man. Other than the NFLPA stuff that's going on that I told you was going to be going on, we can get carried away talking about that, but that's going to take another 30, 45 minutes. It ain't worth it right now. Kids, we don't have an NFLPA. Just really quick. I mean, no, I'm not even going to start there, man. Let's give some shout outs before we get out of here. But before you do that, let me do this.
Okay, but before I do, do it.
Because I got to make sure people know that we really, really need their support, man.
No. Yeah. We are multi-streaming, y'all. Give Keds a Canuck, this guy, a little bit of love right here on YouTube, please. Appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Do the same darn thing for my guy right next to me, Nomad, right here on the Nomad Network. Give him some love. We're cooking up real cool stuff. The Superflex Fantasy Football Show will be coming at you very soon. Keep your eyes and ears open and peeled and all those good things. Shout out to my folks out there in the chat, Keith Harris, and our guy D Nice over at CSP, Chicago Sports Podcast. Big shout out to our guy Trax over there as well. Shout out most importantly to our homeboy Triple R. He's got a little spot called Sports Chicago Style. He'd love it if you gave him a little bit of love over there too. Check him out on the website. Check him out right here on YouTube as well. Like, share, and subscribe to content that we're building for you. I think you guys will appreciate it. And if you do, again, tell a friend to tell a friend. We would appreciate that. That being said, give a little bit of love to those who love us, and we'll get the heck out of here for a Sunday. And we'll do it all again on Wednesday night with a whole bunch of extra sauce on top. So here we go. Shout out to the immortal Naj, man. Naj is with us tonight. Always good to have you, sir. You had some real good takes in the chat. Had to throw a couple of those up there. Absolutely zero love to Don Burr, who's in the chat. He's been here all night with us. We had to cuss him out a little bit. He cussed us out. It's just what we do, basically. And it's been going on for a couple of years now. So, hey, Don, you know what it is.
Ooh, hold on, kids. You just got the question of all questions.
Yeah, Superflex is coming back, brother. Superflex is coming back. We're going to do it. Got to figure out what the dates are and when we're launching for sure. Get this whole fantasy football situation out of the way and into full effect. So stay tuned. There'll be some noise out there in the woodwork, and you might see some new faces as well.
I'm gonna have to, Don. I'm gonna have to. I brought out Public Enemy's new album on the last some extra sauce. I probably need to highlight some of them joints on Pusha T and Malice's joint. That it's pretty good, man. I haven't heard everything on it, but I think it's what I heard is pretty dope.
See, I was real glad to sort of see some of the heads out there in the chat revolving around that particular topic, because those bangers right there. I work my way through my whip. You know what I mean? I jump in the whip, I turn it up, and I marinate on these albums and determine whether it's an album or if there's just a couple good songs. So that's me. I've gotten through the Raekwon. It's an album.
I forgot to tell you, man. Styles P got a mixer out there.
Okay, you like for y'all crypto heads, Styles P got some hidden joints on, like, baked into some NFTs, and you gotta if you know about crypto, you know about NFTs, you go to OpenSea, whatever, you find the NFT that's got Styles P on it, and he's got full tracks and they're dope, but he's making money on a solo level. Styles P's a smart brother, bro. He's a smart brother, and his rhymes have always sort of showed that. So straight up and down, my son is named after him and the dude from Teen Wolf.
So he named his son after Styles P.
Yeah,
that's dope all within itself. Does his son know that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he know. It's funny because his football coach was like, "Yo, so who that?" Meeting him, he's like, "So who are you named after? Are you named after the rapper or after the kid from Teen Wolf the movie?" And my son laughed and he's like, "Holy smokes, how did you know those are the two people that I'm actually named after?" He's like, "Well, your dad must be cool as hell." So I think we got along just fine, me and his coach. But yeah, oh yeah. Anyhow, that's Styles P's dope. Clips album dope. Raekwon album dope. Slick Rick album dope. Like Slick Rick has never made a bad album. Quote me on it. Never.
Delivery, son. The delivery.
Yeah. Anyways, check that stuff out, man. Give yourself the opportunity. You will enjoy it. Has been a lot of good music out there for a while. So now that there's a little bit of something to listen to, enjoy it. Take a long drive, man. Jump in the whip and put that on and enjoy your. Shout out to a couple more folks out there. Bear Truth 9, King Booker, D Rocket Burns just jumped in. Melon Smashers killing the chat every single week. Respect to you. Always big love to our guy, It's Crimson, with the wrench. Shout out to It's Crimson. Shout out to Ron C, Paul Rodriguez for being here early. Mo Fugra, bro. I didn't even see Mo Fugra. Mo Fugra slid in. Shout out to you, Mo. Big ups to you, dog. I didn't know you were here. Big ups to Rap as well. I think we'll call it a day with the shout. Oh, I can't forget Juan Ranowski or Squeegee or Richard Long. All three of y'all get a little bit of extra love. That being said, man, we're gonna shut it down. We'll call it a night. Thanks for joining us tonight on No Man at Night. And No Man, I'll let you take us home.
Well, it's going to be an easy one tonight because I think and shout out to everybody that joined us tonight. We had over like 90 some people in the chat on a Sunday night. That's not bad.
That's
Especially before training camp and before season. That's pretty good. Good numbers, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. That would be nice, man. It's like wiping your feet before you come into somebody's grandma's house that will slap the dog shit out you for not doing it. Wipe your feet on the floor and hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We didn't do subscribers only on this show. We'll do a few more of those before I start feeling like people ain't respecting us and making sure they hit the subscribe button. I think people are holding out on us. Hit that damn subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing.
All right. So look, before you shut it down, two more shout outs to do.
Be quick.
One is I'm super quick. So one is to Alan Kennedy, because I ain't seen you before in the chat. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for joining us tonight. And the second one is to Damon Rule. Thanks for coming.
Alan Kennedy has definitely been here several times.
I've never seen Alan. If I've seen Alan, I'm lying, and I'm just giving him love for no
good.
So it's all good. It's all love, and definitely Damon. I ain't seen Damon either, man. So shout out to Damon too. But continue, sir.
No, but real quick before we get out of here, this is and I'm not trying to get religified on you guys, but where we are as a Bears organization, I think we're at the biblical part of this is the back end of the Bible. This is Revelation. This is Revelation. When you find out, this is the find F around and find out phase. This is when we're going to find out exactly what we got excited about all off season long. Can we put it together and make it work? It's great looking on paper. No doubt about it, on paper. And that's all it is. At the end of the day, all the Bears fans, purists, and the football purists amongst us, they know that it doesn't mean squat until you put it on the field. Now it's time to put it on the field. Now it's time to put it on grass and see. We are at revelation phase of what you thought about Ben Johnson coming here, what you thought about Caleb Williams being the quarterback of this team, what you thought about that offensive line being vastly improved, what you thought about those weapons that we just, put out there for Caleb Williams, what you thought about the improvements to the defense. We're about to see what you thought about Dennis Allen. Why you was happy about Al Harris becoming the defensive back coach. Why you were happy about what's his name over there on the offensive receivers coach, Antoine Randall L. You were happy, and we were happy about all of that stuff. But there's a reason why. We're about to see if they can put it all together. I think they have the right personnel to make this thing work. I think they have the right coaching staff to make this thing work. It's just about putting it on the grass and seeing if we have all the pieces that we need. And we're going to find out in about 8 to 10 days if there's a move to be made. I'm telling you right now, I think there is, but we'll see. I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt as far as I go. But that's where we are, you guys, at the revelation phase of the Chicago Bears 25-26 season. And I cannot wait to move forward. Get used to a whole bunch more Bears content. We're going to come at you with the Feed the Bears. We're going to come at you with the Super Flex. We're going to come at you with a lot more content, live content, so you guys can have more feedback and more follow-up with us. So you guys will see us a whole lot more. And so that's the part of the season that we're in. But I got to leave you guys with these famous words before we get out of here. And I know y'all are excited just like I am. But I'm going to leave you guys with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are out.